Yes, but let's check it out. So here's their done fragment.
So wait, new page, yeah. Done fragment. I like how they all use like view models. So it's like very clear. So you open a fragment activity and you will find a view model and nothing else. So everything is moved to there. That's cool.
Then you have a view page.
It's also interesting. Look at this, like they're on backpress this picture in line 41. So they add a callback. So this is a really nice thing that Jetpack introduced recently. So you can actually register for backpressing, which was always a problem in Android, especially Fragments, because you only have one backpress activity. And this is like the way you do it now. You can just register, hey, please call me for every on backpress. And then there's a command, user must select a choice. What does it mean? Like, what do you want to tell me with this line? Like I assume that he wants to not handle on backpress, so he just wants to block the back button. But I don't know, like, yeah, it was confusing me. I thought
when someone presses back,
it looks like a no op, so I would probably remove this. Oh, this doesn't do anything. But I think it would actually wants to block the on backpress, but the command was a bit misleading for me.
Okay. So what you're saying is this is like an unnecessary.
Yeah, at first I thought it's unnecessary, then I realized, oh no, it's important because they are not actually, so they want, this is the backpress handler for this fragment, and they don't allow on back here, and this is why this command is telling me.
Yeah.
But I think the command could have been, hey, we are not calling anything here because we want the user to make a selection or something. Or this is important, and I think the on backpress dispatcher is a nice thing, but the API is a bit awkward because normally you add like yourself as a callback, right? And if you don't do anything, that's useless, but it's actually not here. So
okay. So
okay, what else?
So we have the done fragment, and then wow, I love.
So they use a lot of intents here. There's always like firing an intent. I don't like that they use it directly. I mean, yes, navigation is just for like navigation, like the component, it's just for within one activity. But normally I have like a navigation, like a navigator class or something like this that I would expect all of this out, right? I don't like when an activity knows exactly how to build the intent for the next activity. Have like some kind of factory method so that I can test it and hide it. And also they use like a lot, like they use a lot of the question marks, right? It's like the notification handler question mark let, or the activity question mark start activity. And I think a lot of Kotlin developers have this discussion with their team. Should we always like do this like this? Because it's super null safe, right? But if the method is called go to main activity, and there's no activity anymore, shouldn't you crash? So should you use exclamation mark instead of the question mark? So what is your take when you do Kotlin? Do you use more like make everything null safe, but you might swallow some errors, or do you make something explicit? Hey, there should be an activity here. Right?
I try and avoid, because you see the way Kotlin is already is it concise? Yeah. So I'm writing few lines of code already. So because of working in teams, you know, I come and I've put this. There's probably someone who'll be wondering what's this supposed to do, something, or like what happens when this doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It looks very. I don't know whether it was nice, you who was talking about it or someone else was saying. Yeah, like don't bring your bad Java habits to Kotlin. But unfortunately, man, like I'll have to state, you know, I'd rather make it like you look at it, like the way you're saying it, the code needs to be readable to an extent. Yeah. So I would really avoid all of these question marks, because then I know it's like a very quick way of summarizing some certain ways of implementing stuff or doing some certain things, but I just try and avoid it.
I was writing a lot of this like code like this, and then I was so happy, hey, everything is null safe, right? But you're just swallowing the things. Like, yeah, you not have the null pointer exception anymore, but this will lead to apps that will end you on a screen where the button doesn't do anything anymore because something is gone, and there's no error, right? At least the other app will crash, and then next time it's back But this way, your user might be completely lost and he doesn't know how to solve things. So I think it's really dangerous adding question marks all over your place.
Yeah, true. So we've looked at main activity. So we're looking at all this fragments, and so I think one thing I wanted to just like maybe say was I loved the way they have put. Oh yeah, I think this is this what you're talking about? Localization, explanation, dialogue, notification steps, fragment. It's dismiss.
Auto dismiss view if user has any notifications. Okay.
Let me just comment on this. I like the way they've arranged everything. That everything to do with all this meaning that the fragments that they have there, like the Bluetooth fragment. I think this is one that was telling us to enable Bluetooth.
You know what I don't like? I mean, I like that they're all next to each other, but I don't. Why they're in a package called View Pager? I mean, you and I, we have written a couple of Android apps, so we know what a View Pager is, and these are the fragments of View Pager. But if someone has like first Android app and he comes here, like, where are the onboarding fragments, right? Why do we have to know that they're in a View Pager, not in a View Switcher or something else, right?
I think this is where I would say there's a confusion between. I mean, I don't think that they probably spent time in saying this is how we're going to name this, or someone was asking why are we naming maybe the View Pager as the way it's being named. Like especially that bit for the View Pager, I would not have gone with the word View Pager. I would probably have gone with a different name here. And this is because of one thing. I love that they've separated everything.
Yeah.
And have like the Bluetooth fragment, exposure notification fragment. Like it's a very nice way of arranging all of this, like your Kotlin files, all of these views that I'm going to be interacting with. But there's some level of disappointment when now you start renaming the top one, because then when this is closed,
yeah, I was wondering, right?
I would also rewired, like, where is it?
Then you have to go to the adapter and find them. Right? Yeah. Can I before we jump further, one more thing that I saw here, like in line 47. So there is this setup image, and there you're loading the Lottie, like the Lottie animation, right? And the image is called Lottie Girl 06. So I would assume maybe it's a 6th step in the onboarding or something. Why is it called 06? And then if we swap things around, I mean, you will forget to rename this. I don't know. It's probably the Lottie Bluetooth one. So I would call this, right? It's probably the image related to Bluetooth. And so try to keep them aligned. I mean, don't add like positions into your name. So I think Lottie Girl 06 is not a good name.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing. Which is very interesting because now I think it's a nice thing you pointed out, because if you probably go to maybe pilot project, that's not there, maybe privacy. There's obviously an animation. There's a Lottie file here. Is it? No, I've not seen any. Province adapter, device check. Yeah, like this is Lottie password 09.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying.
Oh, 9 is also interesting.
So they maintained it over and over.
There were not 9 steps, so this is like, what should the number tell me, right? I think it's a lot. So very often designers give you files and then they just export them from their tool, like if it's After Effects or Sketch or whatever, and then they give you these files. And then developers just leave the file as it is. So then maybe next time another designer exports it with a different naming schema. I mean, designers often don't care about your naming schema. So give them a good name that makes sense and that make context to the app, and just keep them as them is.
Okay. And so that's everything to do with the onboarding, maybe.
There was one more thing that I found.
Overall, sorry?
I think it was in the Bluetooth activity one where they started like then there was an activity result. I think it's the Bluetooth one.
This fragment
result here. It was just want to mention, like they did for the backpress, they use like this new Jetpack API that we just looked at, right? And I just want to mention that for start activity for a result, there is actually now also a nice API where you don't have to do on activity result and with the check the request code here in 953 and then you check the result code. Like there's a much nicer API. Definitely have a look if you haven't checked out, because Jetpack is really helping us a lot nowadays.
My probably last thoughts on this is started probably very well in the way they had broken down different aspects of the UI, especially on the onboarding screen. But I think now naming something like view page, and then you have dialogues here. So I guess dialogues, this is just like the various strings should be there. Maybe this is why we were having the automatic translation. Sorry. And I just do something weird to the code.
I think it's what the dialogues tell us why you need Bluetooth, why you need locations, right? It's just like,
yeah,
I mean, it makes sense in the dialog package, I guess.
I edited something. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And so we have that. Then.
But yeah, you want to say that it started off really well, right? And now, but that.
Yeah. So then that's the whole bit of the dialogues and the fragments. Maybe I would have handled this. Let me see if I would have handled it differently, because I know this is okay. Because they've divided it into notification steps and then the explanation dialogue. And then so they take, where's this one going to?
Let's see how many languages I've got. Okay. We have German, Spanish, French, Italian. That's actually a lot for like an Italian app. That's cool. So someone spent some time here lighting it up.
Exactly. And I would imagine that all this is happening. There's a build happening? Where is a build happening?
No, I just want to jump to the UI file.
Okay.